something crazy at this point,
Well,
which
I
would
will
be
say this:
hard.
if we have the entries, so you can put them up on the screen. Are they on the screen? There was one entry that kind of threw me off at first. If you scroll to the top, entry number
Hmm.
one, this might be inappropriate, but I thought it was a typo. I thought they just said Kenyan Abdi, and I was like, that sounds. I felt like that was a little messed up, but it was really a Kanan Abdi. Great name. Is it? How do you say that?
Okay.
Kenan Abdi?
I got to be honest, I can't see that
Oh, you
well,
can't say
so
it.
I have
Well,
no idea what it says. Go
it's
ahead.
fine. Anyway, I thought it was a funny first name. Just that's a side note, regardless.
Okay.
But yeah, Cole Hocker,
Talk about the
Kiptoo.
5,000, Gordon. Talk about the four of the big. What do we calling them? The big eight or something in the men's 5,000 this year, and we get to
No,
see
it's
them.
like big. It's big 55. I mean, it's
Big
ridiculous.
50. Nah, no, there was that initial list that you had, and you had
Yes.
everybody's resume, and I think there were 8 names on that. Mance was on there as well. You had Kiptoo, Kurgat, Teare. I didn't even think we had Hawker on there because we just assume Hawker's going to run the 1,500.
Yeah. I mean, what do we have currently in the rankings for the top 8? We'll bring those up. We have a new side producer, our boy Travis Miller out there helping us with getting some graphics up. But there's our current rankings: Grijalva 1, Tier 2, Kurgat
Mm-hmm.
3, Kiptoo 4, Herrera 5, Nico Young 6, Amoy Kembo 7, and Connor Mance 8. So seeing Kiptoo, Kurgat, and Tier, basically 2, 3, 4, all running in this race. They have yet to run the 5K this season.
Yep.
Throwing Cole Hocker, who almost beat Centrowitz in a 5K back in December. It's going to be a good race. Who do you think? Oh, also like, there's some like low key other good, like the Stanford guys are in this meet, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's not even just going to be that big four show. Like, there's going to be other people like sneaking in who are pretty good. I think there's going to be a lot of like 1340 caliber guys who are going to come out of this race running 1330s because the Hawkers, the Tears, the Kiptoos are going to be in the 1320s to potentially 13 teens to kind of pull them all through. So it is going to be a wild fight. Like, by the end of this race, dude, you could be like 50th in the country and be like 1340. It's going to be insane.
Okay. Well, you can focus on the 1340 people. I want to focus at the top here because I'm looking at
Okay.
the all-time NCAA list. Number 5 all-time outdoors, according to USTFCCCA, is Labi Lalang's 1318. How many people do you think will run under 1318 in this race?
I mean, 4, right? You got to believe the Iowa State duo and the Oregon duo can all run under 1318, which is insane. Lowry Lane could go from 5th all time to 9th all time in one race. I mean, do you think that's a crazy statement to say all 4 could break 1318?
Not a crazy statement at all. My only reluctance would be we might get in a situation where 2 of them are just running to qualify, or maybe 3 of them are just running to qualify, and one of them goes out there as to set the world on fire, but there's nobody else with them. But certainly all 4 of them have the capability to run that quick. All 4 of them have the capability of running even higher up that list. 1308 from Henry Rono, number 1. Bit of a reach, bit of a stretch, not impossible by the end of the season. I would be surprised if that happens on Saturday in this race. But if you told me that on Monday we were talking about 4 new guys in the top 5 all time, no. I mean, look at what Hawker did indoors. Look at what Teare's already done in the 5,000. Look at what Kiptoo did in the indoor meet with no competition. Look at what Kurgat's resume looks like. No, not at all. It's just a matter of, are they all going to work together to bring the best out of each other, or is it going to be a situation where they're all running and looking around at each other trying to just get a win? But we don't know that, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, while there is the need of getting a top 32 mark, which isn't really much for these big 4,
Mm-hmm.
there is the Olympic standard. That's something that Cooper Teare and maybe
Right.
even Cole Hocker are going to want. Hocker maybe not as much because he's kind of be focused most likely in the 1500, but
Yeah.
it's good to have multiple standards in your back pocket. What is the Olympic standard? Bring it up. Oh,
It's 13,
13.5. Right, 13.5. So in the US in the 5K, let's bring that up. This hasn't been updated 100% up to date, but if you screen that over, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people who already have the 1313. I mean, Fisher there,
Yeah.
1302, Tulimo 1304, Bohr 1305, McGordy 1306, Klecker, then Kipchurcher, True's there, Jenkins, Arasa, and then people on the world rankings. So Teare and Hocker aren't on that list. They could probably get on that list if they run 1313. I can see the dynamic of Teare, most importantly, is probably really eyeing that Olympic standard.
Yeah.
Throw in a Kiptoo who runs out of his mind, will go out in 60 seconds no matter what.
Yeah.
Throw in the idea that Kurgat is not going to want to lose to his teammate. Throw in the fact that Cole Hocker is going to be like, screw it, let's have some fun. All four of them, as a result, should run into 13 teens. That's what I think.
So the domino that makes this whole thing go is Cooper Teare wanting the Olympic standard, and that sets into motion a chain of events which leads to 4 guys in the top 5 NCAA all time. I could prescribe to that theory. There's also the possibility. It is weird. If you were just going for an NCAA qualifier, all of these guys obviously are capable of doing that in their sleep, of getting into the top 32 in the region. You think, okay, I don't need to do that in this big of a meet. I can just do that in a smaller setting, especially if you're Iowa State. Why go all the way out there if you're not going to take advantage of the conditions and the competition? Someone pointed out in the chat, Funky Jam Dude, who's blowing up the chat right now, there have been out-of-season times that are faster than Henry Rono's 13:08. There's actually been 4 performances. Lawi Lang's 13 flat, 13:03, 13:07, and Eric Jenkins' 13:07. But if you're talking about in-season, 13:08, Henry Rono is the number 1 mark, according to the USTFCCCA. I like that theory. I think there's something to that, because how many opportunities is he going to have to run the Olympic standard? And we've talked about it before. If you want to be a factor at the trials, you need to have the Olympic standard. It's tough to try to navigate top 3 and get an Olympic standard. This would seem to be a good shot for him. I wonder, though, Gordon, if we're going to see a bit of a mid-season lull in the distance performances, because people got going so quick indoors. They carried that through to the beginning of outdoors. Does it dip down a little bit before it gets going again, before we get to the apex of the season in June?
See, I think that is more likely to happen in sprint events. I feel like a lot of times the sprint events come off a high going into like Texas relays, and they kind of get that fast mark early. And then the April is kind of the slower, like, nothing much going on. And then they peak again once SECs comes around and prelims and nationals. Whereas distance, it's like, if you don't have the mark, I mean, I can see them only be like, hey, this is our only 5K before prelims at NCAA, so let's just get it now, and then focus on running some fast 1500s, some fast whatever, like 3Ks, so they're not like overstraining themselves. Because, like none of the NAU guys have run their 5Ks or 10Ks yet, right? They've been waiting till now to do that type of stuff. The Oregon guys, I mean, Cooper Teare, he hasn't run his 5K yet. Slowly, I think. For the distance-wise, I think now is when we might start seeing some quicker 5K performance, because the Iowa State guys haven't run it yet, Oregon guys haven't run it yet, the NAU guys haven't run it yet. I think it's.
But we did see that Hayward premiere. We did see those times pop off with the Hayward premiere right after.
Yeah, but none of them were from Oregon or NAU or Iowa State, right? I mean, look at the list that we have right now. It was the BYU Colorado show. Stanford started getting theirs in. I mean, look at that list right now. How many guys have broken 1330? 5 guys. So, yeah, I think it's now time for Iowa State, Oregon, and NAU to kind of extend that list, basically.
Yeah.